as we moved around a bunch, at some point we left the city and we moved to the Inland Empire. We moved to Paris, California. That was kind of my parents' like escape route. They were trying to get us away from the craziness of the city, and they saw how bad it was, and they wanted to get us away from that. And so growing up and living on the ranch where there was like nothing for like miles, that really kind of kept us out of trouble. It kept us, from any major troubles from happening, because here we were kind of in the deserted place, chasing each other through the dirt fields and throwing sticks at each other. How much harm could that really cause a person? So living on the ranch for the time, what was really neat about it is having the ability to have family over all the time. I mean, you could play your music as loud as you wanted. You could have your bonfires as high as you wanted them. You could stay up as late as you wanted. You could scream, yell. It didn't matter. But it was enough. It was far enough away from the city to where you could still have some peace. And I think we need that sometimes. We need to get away from the crazy city life and just get away with nature and just kind of, where there's not a bunch of noise, where you could feel the wind blowing at night, look up into the stars and be like, wow, this is cool. So moving to the ranch, I mean, that, it changed our lives as kids, but I think it changed my dad's life, because you remember he had all these challenges, with his accident and stuff. But as he's recuperating and he's able to walk again, he pretty much could work. And so he's kind of in his retirement age, but he's working. So now he's driving his tractor around. He's cutting down stuff, man. He's maintaining the ranch, and he just kind of stayed there, and he found his peace on that ranch, and so that in itself was just so great to see my dad have that peace in his life, to be able to experience that living on a ranch.
There was a time, I don't know if I mentioned it to you. It was at Uncle Charles's. I show up to Uncle Charles's. He's like doing his thing, and like on his car, and he goes, I go, hey man, how's Uncle Bob, dude? And he goes, I don't know, he's on his tractor, man. Why don't you go say what's up to him? I go, get the hell out of here, bro. I looked at him like, you're crazy, man. He goes, no, I'm serious. He's out there right now on his tractor. And I go, I look, I see like him, doing the field. And I'm like, that's not him. He goes, that's him. So I go, okay. Dude, I'm like khakied out, like Dickies, like just khakied out, bro. Bandana, sunglasses. I walk out to the middle of the field. He's like way down there. I walk in the middle of the field and I just see him like kind of turn around, like come around. And he just stopped. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say nothing, dude. I'm just standing there like this. And he's just like, and I'm in the middle of the field. So he's like, oh, fuck. Like, oh, man, I must have did something wrong, bro. Like, I don't know who this gangster dude is. Because it was too far. Like, he couldn't see who I was. So then he goes, who the fuck are you? And I go, I didn't say anything. I let him just kind of like, what? I can see him like, who are you? I go, fucking Gabriel. He goes, who? I go, Gabriel. He goes, I don't know what the fuck you are. And I go, and he just starts like going towards me. And then I'll go, dude, I'm your nephew. And he goes, oh my God, bro, you scared the fuck out of me. Like, I thought I was gonna die, bro. I thought I was gonna die right now. I go, nah, you're good, man. I just had to scare you a little bit. He's like, oh man, dude. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing out here with a tractor? Like, but it was so cool to see him just like in his thing, like that was like his getaway.
Yeah, so as he was driving his tractor around, and he was taking care of these persimmon trees. They had like persimmon trees growing all over the ranch. And so my dad was just kind of like, mowing around them and keeping weeds down and watering them and trying to keep them alive. And he loved that tractor, man, and he kept it. Somehow it was an old tractor, but somehow he kept it running. And as far as I know, he's the only one that knew how to drive that tractor. I couldn't figure it out. I tried to figure it out. He's the only one that knew how to start it. That's all I knew. And he was good at driving it. He loved riding it all around the ranch. And so, but with that, towards the towards the end of his life, as he's riding that tractor around, one of the last projects was that they were trimming trees around the ranch, and there was one tree that was kind of leaning over towards the house that they lived in. So what they did was they tied a rope to the tree, and they had it tied to the tractor. And so as they cut the tree, my dad was going to pull the tractor and pull the tree away from the house so it didn't fall on the house. Well, as they cut it, it started to come down. He was on the tractor, and he jumped off the tractor to, like, I don't know, try to straighten out the rope or do something. And he was literally like in the path of the tree. And the tree, just as it fell down, it just fell right on my dad. And it just hit him. He went unconscious. You know, my mom came running out. She tried to, do like CPR on him. She tried to bring him back to life, and she couldn't. And so for my dad, he ended up dying on the tractors, doing something that he loved doing. And so, no one prepares for death. You know, I wasn't ready for that one. I thought he would be at least in the hospital, maybe, cancer, or, we all think that death is going to happen. It's going to take time, and so you can kind of work up to it. But when somebody that you love suddenly dies, especially your hero, like my dad was my hero, it's another good punch to the gut. And I know it really changed me, and it has really made me who I am today, experiencing that.
Man, I love him, man. And I, even though, again, I didn't spend too much time with him, the moments that I was with him was, I'm sorry, man.
That's okay, bro.
I think it's just because when I think about him, I think about my dad.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know how I would handle it.
Yeah.
Because, you got one dad, you got parents that it's tough, man. But yeah, that was really rough, man. And I know it really hurt my dad because they were so close, even though they were distant, like I said, when they were together, it was like a fucking, like, it just, like I said, they finished each other's words, and even though they weren't around each other, like, it amazed me, like, it really did. Like, I remember just being on the ranch one time. I'll never forget your dad. I had like these baggy pants on, man, and I'll never forget that. He goes, "Man, I don't understand you kids these days, bro. Like, you guys wear like these baggy pants, and there's just, back in my day, like, we wore tight pants, so girls could see your booty, like." And I was like, I go, "What?" He's like, he did like this pose, like he showed us, like, yeah, like we get it tight, that's why I like it tight, so girls could see what's going on right there. And I just.
Like Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, he did like a Freddie Mercury pose, and I just fucking died laughing, man. And I was just like, dude, this dude is so funny, man. And my dad's just like, it just like, man, I just had so much love for him. And sorry for breaking down right there, bro. But
no, that's fine, bro.
I was thinking about this time, and maybe you brought it up a little bit about your dad being your hero, and that's kind of what got me choked up. I remember like in second grade, I remember the teacher came around, and everyone loves like heroes, and she's like, "Who's your favorite hero?" And then I remember like, Superman. One kid was like Spider-Man, and I'm like sitting there and I'm thinking like to myself, like, my hero is my dad. And I remember the teacher kept asking me like, "Well, who's your hero though?" And I go, "My dad." And then she goes, "Okay, like, why is he your hero? Why is your dad?" Because no one in his classroom is saying that's your hero. And I said, it's my dad because, he's such a funny guy. And the way my dad just gets up in front of a room, and when he's comfortable, he just lights it up. Like,
Yeah.
I've always appreciated that about my dad. You mentioned that your dad is your hero, and I wanted you to maybe elaborate on that. Like, my dad's my hero, and the reason why.
Well, my dad is my hero, and the reason why he's my hero is because he's taught me so many things in life. He taught me how to work hard, take care of my family. One thing that he taught me, he stayed with my mom like our entire life, and they didn't have a perfect relationship. No one does. I don't even have a perfect relationship with my wife, but he taught me just to persevere, to hang in there, to make up, to work it out, to stay together. They say that the family that prays together stays together, and I really believe that that's true. But one of the other things that my dad modeled for me is that every now and then he would kind of, lose his cool. And what I mean by that is that, maybe we would do something and we would really drop the ball. And so he would have to discipline us or whatever. And maybe he was a little bit too harsh in his verbal anger. And like, I remember a couple times my dad coming afterwards, and after he cooled down, he said, "You know what, son?" He says, "What you did was wrong, and it really upset me the way that you're treating your mom and stuff." He goes, I just want to apologize for like the way I reacted. I'm sorry that I lost my cool like that. And I know some people will look at that and be like, "Oh, for a man to apologize to his kids, that's not a very manly trait." But I don't really see that as a weakness. My dad is my hero because that is, to me, that's a strength. That's a superpower. And now that I have two boys and I have a daughter, I could tell you, man, I've done that a bunch of times where I have like, yeah, maybe maybe they did deserve the discipline, but I kind of got a little too overboard on it. I got a little too upset. And so I had to say, you know what though, but I kind of lost my cool there, and I'm really sorry for getting that upset. And I thank my dad because he modeled that to me, and now that's something that I take into raising my kids and my family. And hopefully, when my boys grow up and they screw up as a dad, we all make mistakes as parents. They will do that. They will follow that same. They'll follow that same example. Losing your father, it's always a hard thing. It becomes a reality when you actually see them in the coffin, and then you bury them. It's like a process because you start to miss them. One of the things I miss about my dad is I miss his voice. Whenever I'd have a car problem or something in life that I needed my dad's touch on, I could call him and he could just tell me on the phone, "Hey, well, you need to try to do this, do that," or spontaneously my dad would just call and say, "Hey, how are you guys doing? How are the kids doing?" And he would like check up on me once in a while. And I miss that, man. I just miss hearing his voice. At the same time though, as hard as that is, I also feel like there's a great responsibility on my life now. My dad taught me everything he could while he was here. So, as hard as it is to lose a father, as hard as it is to lose a mother or a grandparent or any family member, you have to move on. You have to live life. And so it's important to, take that baton, carry it, and move forward. Try to be the best, try to make them proud. Being a father now and having children is probably one of the greatest blessings in life. Just being able to pass on the things that you're learning and being able to grow. And of course, we teach our kids, but our kids teach us so much. And then just having my wife, being there on my side, she taught me so much over the years. But with all that, it's really a benefit and a blessing being in a musical family, because we could just bust out the guitar and sing together and play together, and be able to put on these Facebook Live concerts and harmonize and sing different parts and have fun. I love that. But then also being able to be a part of a church, and now having my own little small group of people that I pastor, and I teach and I share with. That's been awesome. That's been life changing. The best place to find me now, I mean, you could go to flamechapel.org. That's our website. Or you could look to Flame Chapel on Facebook or Flame Chapel on Instagram, or actually you could just look for Bobby Vargas on Instagram. I will post like encouraging messages, quotes, verses. Sometimes I do short videos, just video encouragements as well. I'm doing a Facebook Live every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. So if you go to Flame Chapel on Facebook, you can actually watch me live this Sunday. And I usually do that. I do a study at 9 a.m. too. So yeah, just those are some places to look for. But yeah, I love doing this, man. And I wouldn't trade this for the world. I love what I do, and I'm so thankful to just, be a tool in the hand of the Creator, and being able to love my family and my friends, and being able to create music, sing, and do all these wonderful things. You're watching Universoul Groove with Bobby Vargas. Peace out.